Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Teacher Aina and today we shall continue on Unit 5 Food and Health. For your information, this is going to be the third lesson which will be on page 55 of your student's book. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to talk about food and meals. However, in our lesson today, our language focus will be on countable and uncountable nouns as well as the determiners such as some, any, much, many, and a lot of. As usual, before we begin our lesson today, let me communicate with you first the framework of our lesson. First, we shall determine which food is countable and uncountable and discuss the rules. Next, we shall discuss on the rules of using determiners in addressing the quantity of countable and uncountable nouns. Finally, we shall practice the use of determiners on the countable and uncountable nouns. Without further ado, let us move on to the first activity of our lesson today, which is to look and determine which food is countable and uncountable. Now, let's take a look at these pictures and also the table. We are going to group these pictures according to its category, whether it's countable or uncountable. So, we have apple, we have juice, egg, flour, pasta, sweets, water, and also snacks. So, let's begin with the apple. Is apple a countable or uncountable noun? It's a countable noun. How about juice? If juice is not placed in the glass, where should it be? Is it countable or uncountable? It should be in uncountable. How about egg? Egg is still well in its shape. So, it should be in countable as it can be counted. Next, flour. Is flour countable? No, it's uncountable. How about pasta? Can you count 1 pasta, 2 pasta, 3 pasta until the end of the world? No, it's uncountable. How about sweets? Can you count 1 by 1? Yes, you can. So sweets are countable. How about water? Can you count by 1 water, 2 water, 3 water? No, you can't. So it's uncountable. And last but not least, how about snacks? Yes, you can. As you can see from the picture here, there are pretty few types of snack. Therefore, you can count the snacks by its type, so it's countable. So, did you manage to get all these pictures correctly grouped according to its category? If so, congratulations! Now, how do we know if the food is countable or uncountable? Let's look at the countable here. First, say it's an apple. How many apples can you see here? There's only 1. So in English, we say 1 apple. Anything that is well in its shape and can be counted, then it is countable. Apple is a countable noun. So, when we have another extra apple, it becomes 2 apples. Remember, only for countable nouns, when it is in plural form, most of the countable nouns will be added as at the back of its noun. How about uncountable then? Uncountable, say, if you look at this water, can you even count the water? Can you say 1 water, 2 water, 3 waters? No, you can't add s at the back of water because it's uncountable. Unless you put the water into bottles. Bottles can be counted, right? So it becomes 2 bottles of water. Only then you can make it as countable because bottle itself. It can be counted in terms of quantity. Now, let us move on to the second activity of our lesson today. Let's take a look at this table again. This time, we are still using uncountable and also countable table. However, I am going to group the determinants according to each group. Say, how much pasta is there? Pasta is uncountable, right? So, when we want to make a question asking about quantity of uncountable nouns, we will need to start with how much. And it always ends with the word is in the question. So, how much pasta is there? So say, if the pasta is in a very big quantity, you can say there is a lot of pasta. There is a lot of pasta. You cannot say there are a lot of pasta because pasta cannot be counted. Next, how about if it's not in a big quantity, somehow it has a moderate quantity? Now, you have two options to say this. First, you can say, there is some pasta. Or you can also say, there isn't much pasta. So, either one of these two sentences signify the moderate quantity of the pasta itself. However, take note that when you want to use some, it is used in affirmative sentence, whereby when you use much, it must be used in the negative sentence. Last but not least, now the plate is empty. There is no more pasta. So, how do you say it? There isn't any pasta to show that the plate is already empty. You can't see any more pasta on the plate. Moving on to countable. The same question will be asked, which is, how many vegetables are there? We know that vegetables we can count by numbers. Therefore, anything that is countable, we need to use the word many when we want to ask for quantity and followed by the verb to be are. It is totally opposite to the way you use it in uncountable. Say, if you have vegetables in a very large quantity, how do you say it? You can also use a lot of, but you need to use are because vegetables are countable. So, when it's more than one, automatically we use the verb to be are. So, there are a lot of vegetables. Next, how about now? It becomes moderate quantity. It's the same as uncountable. We have two options to say it. First, you can say there are some vegetables. Or if you want to use negative sentences, you can say there aren't many vegetables. It's the same meaning. It is just that one is in affirmative and one is in negative. How about if the basket is totally empty? Means that you can't see any more vegetable in there. You can say there aren't any vegetables. Alright, so these are the determinants that you are going to use in this lesson to ask or to tell the quantity of uncountable and countable nouns. Alright, so based on the explanation just now, choose the correct answers to conclude each of these sentences to test your understanding. Number 1. We use much, many with uncountable nouns. So, which one is the correct answer? Uncountable, remember, you couldn't count. So, we use much. Number 2. We use much, many with countable nouns. Anything that can be counted in terms of numbers, we can use many when it's in plural form. Number 3. We often use any, much, and many in question and negative, affirmative sentences. Remember, just now, we have one sentence that is using any. It was used together with negative sentences. There isn't any, there aren't any. Number 4. we use some, any, and a lot of, many for countable and uncountable nouns. So, which of these three determiners can be used in both countable and uncountable nouns? Some, yes, to show that it's in moderate quantity. Any, to say that when there is nothing left on the plate or in the basket like we see in the example just now. And also, a lot of to indicate it has a very large quantity. So the answer here is a lot of. It can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Now, let's move on to the final stage of our lesson today, where we are going to practice using the determiners that we have gone through in the previous activity just now. Now, fill in the blanks and underline the correct answers. Number 1. How, blank space, meat do vegetarians eat? They don't eat any, much, many, meat. So, what should we fill in the blank for this question? Meat. Is it countable or uncountable? It is uncountable. So, it is uncountable and we want to ask about the quantity of the meat. We have to use much. So, as vegetarians don't even eat meat, so we should say they don't eat any meat. Number 2. How, blank space, vitamins are there in white rice? They aren't some, much, many vitamins in white rice. Now, vitamins, we have a few types: A, B, C, D, E, and K. So these are the 5 to 6 types of vitamins and we can count by its types, right? So, we can use many when we want to question about the quantity. So, they aren't some, much, many vitamins in white rice. When just now, under countable nouns, the only determiner that we can use with negative sentences is many. They aren't many vitamins in white rice, which has the same meaning as there are some vitamins in white rice. But since the sentence here using aren't, we have to use together with many. How, blank space, fat is there in chocolate? There's a lot of, much, many fat in chocolate. Well, you know that fat is uncountable. So, automatically we have to put much, and in chocolate we know that there is a very high quantity of fat because it's very sweet. So, there's a lot of fat in chocolate. You can't say many because fat is uncountable. GOODJOB, good job, good job, good job. So that's the end of our lesson today. This is the homework that I have prepared for you. Feel free to complete it. You can go to the video description below and click on the link to do the exercise straight away. As usual, don't forget to visit my channel and give it a like if possible. Subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell so that you will always get notified whenever I update new videos. With that, I would like to thank you for watching and I shall see you at the next video. Bye bye!